Hello, 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 and welcome to another Nerd Herd. I've been recording a lot of football stuff lately, just because one, I have to get caught up on doing a NFL 101, so you might see a few of those pop up in the next few days. We'll see how many I get recorded here soon, or how many I get recorded in a short amount of time. But for right now, let's focus on this video. So, um, for those of you who don't know, which is probably everybody watching this, I am a bit of a Phineas and Ferb fan. Yes, the TV show created by Dan Povenmire and Jeff Marsh. I'm a fan of that show. I discovered it somewhat late into its life cycle. I think by the time I discovered it, it was already mostly over, and I think the last season was already out on the Disney TV channels, and I've been watching it on Disney Plus because they came out with a new season, last month. So I've been watching through the older seasons, and I've watched the new season. The new season is good. So, but overall, Phineas and Ferb, I definitely say if you are someone who likes, physical comedy and cartoons, just go watch the series or watch a few episodes. I think you might enjoy it. But as far as this episode goes, we're going to be tackling something that isn't really addressed in the TV show. And again, Dan Parvermeyer, one of the creators, has addressed a theory, which I will talk about here in a moment. Here in a bit, excuse me. You see, to explain why I'm doing this. But anyway, or to you'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute when I get into the real subject of the video. But so throughout the entire series of Phineas and Ferb, it's made pretty evident that Ferb's dad is not Phineas and Candace's dad, and Phineas and Candace's mom is not Ferb's mom. They make it pretty clear in several of the episodes that uh, Phineas, Ferb, and Phineas and Ferb are stepbrothers. Candace and Ferb are step siblings. Um, yeah, so they make that pretty clear in the series that while Phineas and Candace are full siblings, Phineas and Candace are not related to Ferb, at least by blood. Now, what I want to get into is where are the missing parents of each of the boys? We don't, and I'm gonna call them the missing parents because I don't want to waste a lot of time saying, "Oh, Ferb's mom" or Phineas and Candace's dad. So we're just gonna call them the missing parents for this episode. Don't mind me as I wipe something off my screen. But anyway, so we're just gonna explore a bit of who they are or a bit of who they aren't, and maybe some explanations as to where they are in the world. Oh, my back is super itchy. Anyway, so let's start off with that first question. Who aren't the missing parents? Well, for Ferb's mom, we get basically nothing at all. No hints, nothing. Nobody explains who Ferb's mom is, who, where she is, what she's doing, what her relationship with Ferb is like, what her relationship with Phineas and Candace is, what her relationship with, her, Linda is, Phineas and Candace's mom. So nobody knows. We get literally nothing, and I, so we cannot say who Ferb's mom is because one, we don't meet her in the show, so they don't come out and say, "Hey, this is Ferb's mom. She's taking him away for the weekend." Or two, we don't even get hints to who she might be, or so. Suffice it to say that I think if they do introduce Ferb's mom, it'll be a completely new character, not a character we've seen before. And I think, and this is where I get into the thing I mentioned earlier about what Dan Povenmire said. I think Phineas and Candace's dad is also a character we've never seen before. There is a theory out there, and again, it's been debunked by Dan Povenmire himself, a creator of the show. So it's not a valid theory. It's just a popular one right now. There's a theory out there that says Dr. Doofenshmirtz, the evil scientist that Perry the Platypus goes out and fights in every episode. You know, this theory suggests that he is Phineas's dad. However, as I've mentioned a couple times to this point, Dan Povenmire has come out and said, one, Phineas and Candace are full siblings, so that means Dr. Doofenshmirtz would have to be Candace's father as well, which is impossible because we've only seen one flashback where Dr. Doofenshmirtz has met Phineas and Candace's mom. So it's not possible. That's not possible because Phineas and Candace are full siblings too. He just comes out and says it because he's just like, Dr. Doofenshmirtz isn't Phineas's dad. And I have a bit of evidence in show, like, okay, out here in our world, in the real world, meta stuff. Yes, the co-creator of the show, however you want to call, whatever you want to call it, give Dan Povenmire, a creator of the show has come out and said, these two characters are not related in the way you think they are being related. They are related. But in the show, I think Dr. Doofenshmirtz as a character kind of disproves this theory, because if he had two kids, assumedly, I'm not going to speculate on if he has more or more. We know he has at least one with Vanessa, but if he had two kids, based on his character and how he treats his one known child, I have a feeling that Dr. Doofenshmirtz, at least, no matter if his two kids had different parents or not, or if he had three kids, say if he was Candace and Phineas's dad, if he had three kids, I have a feeling that Dr. Doofenshmirtz would strive to treat all of his kids equally. And again, this is based on his character in the modern day, seeing how he treats his one known child, and Vanessa. I believe that he would try to treat both Vanessa and Phineas equally, no matter if they had the same mother or not. Just again, based on his character and on his backstory of his parents really didn't treat him as well as they treated their other kid. So that theory should be put to bed because a creator said no, that theory isn't true, and two, because one of the characters, if this were true, one of the characters would have to act a whole lot differently than what we see in the show. Okay, so now that we've kind of discussed who their parents are or who their parents aren't, and what might happen if we see these missing parents. Come on, focus in. Come on, there we go. Come on. Okay, the camera's not refusing to focus. Okay, so there we go. Sorry about that. Anyway, so where are the missing parents? If they are not any of the characters we see in the show, where are they? So I have a few theories on this. Theory number one: they have the missing parents and the parents we see in the show have split custody arrangements for the kids, and it's just never brought up in the show. this is the least likely theory to me because I have a feeling that if, you know, Ferb's dad had the split custody arrangement with Ferb's mom, there would I feel like they would have written that into the show. Just said, hey, oh hey, Phineas and Ferb can't do their wacky adventure today, or Phineas is gonna have to discover this himself, or how to do this himself because Ferb's off with his biological mother, uh, for their split custody arrangement. Vice versa with Ferb saying maybe having a bigger speaking role than we're used to, because hey, Phineas isn't here to translate Ferb. Um, so why I think that these are unlikely, you know, is because Phineas is pretty open about calling uh, Lawrence Fletcher a dad, and I I assume Ferb is, although again we don't see him speak much in the show. So I have a feeling that Phineas and both Phineas and Ferb call the opposite parents by their parental name, or by the parental name that is traditionally associated with them. So I have a feeling that wouldn't just you know that implies that the parent that is missing for each of the characters is no longer in the picture, so a split custody arrangement wouldn't happen. And again, if it was a split custody arrangement, I feel like Phineas and Candace would have a separate name for Ferb's dad. Whether they called him, Daddy Two or whatever, or something like that, or Dad Number Two or whatever you want to call it, whatever they want to call him. My second theory, and this is kind of where it gets a bit sadder and maybe a bit darker. My second theory is that um, uh, the parental rights of the missing parents, whether it be the mom or the dad, were terminated, whether voluntarily or by force. Um, and that's kind of a law here. I think at least here in America, if I'm remembering it right, is that parents can terminate their parental rights for for a child if they so choose, and also they can the courts can basically remove them as a parent for said child. So this theory is a little more plausible just because the missing parents are never mentioned in the show. So maybe they waived their parental rights and just were just like, no, we don't want anything to do with the kids. Leave us out of the lives, dummy. Excuse me, dinner's coming back on me. Leave us out of the kids' lives. Don't even mention us. That's a little bit that's a little bit more likely, if a bit more dark, depending on how you view it. Whether the courts forced these parents to give up their rights because of certain activities they were taking part in. Um, the last theory is possibly the saddest of all, and maybe even the darkest. Um, is that the missing parents of their respective children we see, if Phineas and Ferb, I'll just say that Phineas and Ferb, that their respective missing parent passed away, and I think this is the most likely. And again, this is kind of a sad and dark type of thing, of the parent, whether shortly before or shortly after Phineas and Ferb's, well, shortly before Phineas's death, or excuse me, shortly before Phineas's birth, in his case, or shortly after Ferb's birth, and shortly before or after their births, they passed away. Now, I think this is really likely in Ferb's case. I think Ferb's mother is possibly passed there in childbirth and was just like, I gave birth to Ferb and then, keeled over, and that's why his dad doesn't really mention her. Um, and then um, for Phineas and Candace's dad, I think it's the I think there's might be some trouble with that, trauma with them there. Like she just doesn't want to mention him to the kids at all because it will bring up memories and all this junk. But anyway, that's where I'm gonna end it. What do you guys think? Where are Phineas and Ferb's missing parents? Are they alive out there? Are they? Do they have split custody and we just don't see it? Um, or did something else happen to them? All right. With that, I'll see you guys later. Uh, oh, by the way, before I leave, we are at this point. I think we are 27 subscribers away from 100 subscribers. So if you guys could subscribe real quick, let me make sure that number. Yep, 27 subscribers away from 100. So if you guys could subscribe, like, comment, click the bell, do all those things, it would be a great help to us. Bye.